Greetings everyone, this is Jasmina, and in this video I'm going to talk about the Sanhur 4-element structure rings. And these are used a lot in the Sanhur heaven plate water methods. And they're used in slightly different ways, but this is a thing they have a lot in common with. Now they also all use a 12 chi cycle. And the cycle has this order. If it's in red, it's considered an ascending sector, and in black, it's a descending sector. But it always starts with growth, then bath, youth, and so forth. So when we're looking at the diagrams that I'm going to show you, you find growth and you look at which direction bath is. This tells you which of the two rings or which direction of the 12 cycle ring the cycle goes. So it is divided. You also divided this way quite a few times. You have the ascending phase in red again, the descending in black. Now this is basically the life cycle. Now this doesn't mean that everybody who does feng shui believes in reincarnation. Some do, some don't. This is just the way the energy works. So you don't have to believe in reincarnation to use this. Although we start with nurture here, growth is always where the actual cycle starts. And there's a reason for this, which you'll see in a bit. The 4-element structures are metal, water, wood, and fire. Now you know there are 5 elements, and the one missing, of course, is earth. But earth is where your house is. And you are looking at the influence of these other elements on your house. So that's why we only look at these 4 elements or these 4-element structures, because the earth is where you are. It gives you a reference point. Now, different schools of Sanhur may use these rings in a different manner. It all depends on which school you're talking about. And again, these tend to be quite secretive. So you are lucky when you can find something out about this because they don't like to tell their secrets. Now, some of these methods use a water mouth location to determine which of the 4 structures that will be used. And I will show you in the next Sanhur video one of such things. And others may use a different thing, perhaps the facing direction of the house, perhaps the incoming water. It all depends on which particular method you're using, how you determine which of these structures to use. Now, what a water mouth is, largely, it is a location where a river meets a river or a river meets an ocean or a lake. Now, the bigger the river, the bigger the influence, the wider the influence that river has on houses in the area. For example, the Mississippi River probably, it's down where it's in the southern part of the United States, it's very wide and it probably has an influence of a mile or more. But most rivers are more like a quarter of a mile or maybe up to a half a mile. But the wider the river, the wider its influence beyond the river. Now, the nearest road junction, which could include your driveway meeting the road, but it has to be at a lower elevation than your building is, this can also be considered a water mouth. It's very weak compared to a real water mouth. And actually, if this is your only water mouth in your area, I wouldn't worry about this part of the Sanhur, because this is very weak compared to real water, and it's very easy to overcome because it is so weak. Now remember, Sanhur is not fast. The only time this becomes real problematic is if you have a bad structure and you're very close to the river. Otherwise, I'm not worried about this because it has such a little influence on your life. The ancient text clearly shows that the river can flow either clockwise or counterclockwise and still be able to create good Sanher Qi under the right conditions. However, some schools only allow the use of the clockwise Qi ring cycle. And other schools allow you to use either the clockwise or the counterclockwise rings. And it all depends on which method or which school you adhere to, how you would use this. Even if you allow both directions, it's still fairly rare to have good Sanher formations created because not everybody is even remotely close to an appropriate river. Now this is an example of the metal element structure. And we know we're using the heaven plate because at 0 degrees north, the wrath starts. And this is the key. Now, the heaven plate is merely the earth plate, which is what more people are familiar with, rotated 7.5 degrees clockwise. The earth plate sectors are 8 sectors of 45 degrees each, and these are the cardinal and ordinal directions. So that's where you get north 1, 2, and 3, and so forth. But these are 12 sectors that are 30 degrees wide each. And you still have to be cognizant of this subdivision, but oftentimes, just for ease, they are given these broader definitions or broader names based on the animal sign within that 30-degree sector. But you still have to be cognizant of exactly, let's say, for example, where the water mouth is. That does make a bit of a difference. Now, if you note that every one of these sectors has an animal sign and a non-animal sign. And I choose to put these non-animal signs pretty much in English with the element type, except for these 4. We have gan, shen, kun, and qian. Now, they are ancient words. In Chinese, they're ancient words, and they have something to do with the environment, like thunder and mountain and wind, something like this. But I almost never see them stated that way. So I'm going to leave them with the romanization of the Chinese. But these others all have names too. Like run is yang water. But I will stick to this normal English because I think most people recognize this who are listening to me a bit better. Now these 2 outer rings are the heaven plate, and they are fixed with respect to true north. They never move. Your house, when you apply this, you put the door at the center of these rings. That's where the door is located. And that's how you set this ring or this thing over your house when you analyze this. These 2 inner rings are part of the 12 Qi cycle. Now they are fixed based on the structure, but they are not fixed with respect to true north. That means that for a different type of elemental structure, this triangle moves and these 2 rings move with the triangle. So we always have grave and grave at one of the vertices of the triangle. The other vertices will have prosper and growth and prosper. And when this triangle rotates, as it will when we have the different elements, then these rings, these inner rings rotate. They are not fixed to true north. The outermost of those 2 inner rings is the 12 cycle in the clockwise direction. So we find growth and then we look for bath. That will define the direction. So this one goes in the clockwise direction. The innermost ring goes in the counterclockwise direction. Here is growth, then we have bath, so it goes around this way. Now, this is the thing without any other extraneous words. The reason why I'm giving you this is so that you can take a screenshot if you like, because I will be using these types of diagrams in other videos, but they will be a lot smaller and it may be almost impossible to read some of these words. So I'm giving you this if you want to follow along in detail. If you don't care about the detail, don't worry about it. Now this is the water structure. Grave and grave is here at the dragon. Prosper and growth at the monkey. Growth and prosper at the rat. And you notice the triangle has moved, but everything moves with it. The grave and grave stay together. This is the wood structure. Goat has grave and grave, pig has prosper and growth, and rabbit has growth and prosper. And finally, we have the fire structure. Grave and grave is at dog, prosper and growth at tiger, and horse has growth and prosper. Now, you shouldn't be worried about what your animal sign is. Just because the dog is here with grave and grave doesn't mean anything. It has nothing to do with what your animal sign is. So don't worry about that. This is just a way of organizing these things. And this just tells you what to do, which one to use, depending on what water structure you have in your local area. There are many methods in Sanhe that use the water mouth. And the water mouth is basically where two rivers meet, or what I've already discussed. And it makes the location of that water mouth will determine which one of these structures you use. So here is in digital form where you actually have angles. This is what it looks like on the compass. The center of your main door is where that center crosshair is. And if it's in this area, you use the fire structure. If it's here, you use the metal structure. If it's here, you use the water. And if it's here, you use the wood. So this is not that hard to determine which structure you need to use. So that's basically it. I'd like to thank you for watching. Please feel free to contact me here if you have any questions or visit my ad-free website. And if you subscribe to my channel, I will have more videos on Sanhe and also some regular videos monthly and even annually for some of the San Yuan methods. Thank you again for watching.